Here's another piece of this I don't know if you'll agree with or not. I'm more and more convinced that even though the decision to follow Jesus is a decision, it is very hard to just decide on the radical ethic of Jesus. I don't know if you'll buy this or not. Let me give you what I think is the clearest example. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 or 3. Several. I require my freshmen to memorize the Sermon on the Mount. I heard that groan all the way up here. And I do it for a reason. I want it to become second nature. I think if I could get every church leader in America to memorize the Sermon on the Mount, I could transform at least half of those churches. Where church leaders just spend time speaking the Sermon on the Mount into each other's lives. I also believe that the Sermon on the Mount is to be obeyed. I find myself in a shrinking minority of people who believe that. I do not believe, as Luther did, that Jesus is just trying to set the bar so high that He's trying to show you that you can't possibly be righteous on your own. I take Jesus seriously at the end when He says, "The wise person is the one who hears these sayings of mine and puts them into practice." But then when I actually read the sermon, I get all queasy. You have heard that it was said, I'm aiming this one at students, and then I'm going to hit those of you who are my age with one. You have heard that it was said, "Do not commit adultery." But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. Now, I think that's hyperbolic language. But it seems to me what the language does is suggest just how difficult the issue of lust is. And, I'll take a flyer on this one. I doubt that 18 to 22-year-old guys with whom I spend my life can decide tomorrow, okay, I'm giving lust up. I wish they could do it that easily. And I'm not saying decision doesn't have anything to do with this, but I don't think you can decide to just quit lusting. How hard is it to quit lusting? Well, you could get rid of your eyes. That'd be progress. Yeah? Okay. One for those of you who are older. This would be those of you who are too old for lust. Okay. Let's see. Let's do something that will get people irritated. Who's that sociologist from Eastern University we've had on campus? Thank you. Tony Campolo's great line is, he's at that stage in his life now when his wife says, "Let's go upstairs and have sex." He says, "Well, I can't do both." So for those of you who are at a different place in life than younger people, let me begin with 543. You have heard that it was said, "Love your neighbor and hate your enemy." But I tell you, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. He causes His sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your brothers, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. As we have entered the world of the new tribalism, as some of the great dictatorial powers have fallen apart, we have discovered that the only thing that was keeping peace in those regions was raw terror and power. And when you remove that, guess what's underneath? Tribalism. Pure and simple. It's about my group, my ethnicity, my religion. Failure to understand this one simple fact has involved America in a war that it's very hard to see how it can be won. We saw the power on the top, didn't recognize the tribalism underneath. You found it all over the Balkans, didn't we, when the Soviet Union's power started to recede. And it is just so easy to slip into seeing the world as us and them. And I become very protective of my group, and I claim myself to be a loving and loyal person because I love and am loyal to those who are part of my group. And Jesus comes in and says, when you do that, you are exactly like every single pagan in the world. Everybody does that. Everybody loves the members of their own family, their own tribe, their own clan. The mark of followers of Jesus is they love outside or across those lines. And everything in world culture, not just American culture, pushes against that. So I'm just going to up and decide I'm going to love my enemies. I don't know. I'm not convinced that you can just kind of decide that one day. I think you can make some decisions about your behavior. Yeah, I think you should. I think it's really hard to say, okay, I'm not going to think about the world in those terms anymore. I am done with us and them-ness. Not going to do that. Okay, but I don't want to leave us. I don't want to leave us there. I don't want to leave us with the impossibility because I've already told you I think that this is to be obeyed.